Helldivers 2. Talk about Helldivers. All right. So Helldivers 2, game looks fun, right? I'm getting a lot of different vibes from it. The other day, someone said it reminded them of Battlefront, and I said, yeah, it actually does remind me of like Battlefront, but it also reminds me of like SOCOM, the way the guys move, right? I'm not saying it's SOCOM. I'm saying just the way the characters move. It's kind of reminds me of that old school. I kind of like the way it looked. Like I wanted to play it this week, but I don't think I am because I watched some people play it solo, and it looked horrible when playing solo. Okay. Then I watched people playing it with randos, and that also looked like not fun. Because a lot of people were just murdering people left and right just for fun. I want to be more strategic. I like obviously we play with friends and we get killed. That's fine, right? Good fun. But if you're just getting trolled by other people that are playing the game, that's not fun in my opinion. But Helldivers 2 does look fun to me. So let's talk about Helldivers, right? Helldivers reinforces the way Sony releases PlayStation games. Right, this article is from Paul Tassi from Forbes. It says, update. Because I'm very smart with good memory, I have learned that Herman Holtz essentially said everything I said before back in 2022. That Sony will release most live service games instantly on PC, while single-player games will be held back at least a year. Original article follows. Helldivers 2 is the latest surprise hit in the gaming space since, Palworld a couple weeks ago. But it's deeply impressive all the same. The PlayStation publisher co-op shooter has done exceedingly well on Steam, releasing the same time as PlayStation 5 version, something that Sony has almost never done before, which is kind of wrong because they have done it before. No Man's Sky released, and No Man's Sky actually did really well. This is the article that we read before. And Sony is indeed a venture further into the PC over time, bringing their big games to the platform well after launch. But even with the minor franchise like Helldivers, the day-and-date launch has allowed its 155,000 concurrent peak to be more than double of God of War's 73,000 peak. Can I just say, duh? I'm not saying duh to the article. I'm saying duh. We've been saying this for years, right? Right? See, it's bad when Microsoft releases their games on their console and PC, right? People are like, oh, they can't sell their games. But they're making more money. Hence why Starfield was successful. It sold 6.5 million copies on Steam alone. And then here you have Sony, okay, selling on PlayStation and PC at the exact same time. No shit, you sold more copies because it's at the exact same time. And the people that are on PC that don't have a PlayStation are now buying your game. And if they didn't have a PlayStation, they would have to wait for Helldivers for a year from now before they buy it. And by that time, they might be buying something else, and they might be like OTR, where they just put it on their backlog. Okay? So obviously, if you put on the PC platform and the console platform, you're going to sell more. That's how it works. Get it out to more people on day and date, and more people will buy your stuff. So it says, and I bet it would go even higher today if it wasn't a Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, it still might. Okay? This was clearly an experiment. Now, Sony has been toying with more and more closely PC releases for a long time now, or a while now, and this was a game that they thought could do a fully pulled the trigger on. And guess what? It worked. And now this is going to be a reshape on how Sony reveals games going forward. There should be a split from here, okay? Big traditional PlayStation exclusive single-player games will continue to release only on PlayStation 5 at launch, and I think that's dumb. Because a person like myself that doesn't have a PlayStation 5, I'm not buying your next God of War. I'm not buying your next Horizon game. I'm not buying your Ghost of Tsushima, right? I'm not buying these games until they come over to PC now. Now, obviously, those games like God of War Ragnarok, which I haven't played yet, I haven't bought it. Why? Because it's not on PC, and when it comes to PC, or when it is to PC, I'm already playing other things that are interesting my time because it's old. But if God of War came out on PC and I don't own a PlayStation, I would have bought that game. If Horizon Forbidden West came out on PC the same day as PlayStation, I would have bought it. They would have made more money from me. But instead, now I have to wait, and I'm not going to pick that up. Obviously, they should release their day-and-date single-player games. I would have bought Spider-Man day one, but I can't. I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I have to wait now when it comes out a year from now. So obviously they would sell more, but let's continue. The gap is going to shrink though. God of War has about 3.5 years difference, but the surprise if it didn't get down to 1 or 2 years. Now, however, I cannot see Sony releasing any of the planned live service games exclusively on PlayStation given what they're seeing on the Helldivers here. We already know that this is not going to be true for something like Bungie's Marathon, which despite Sony's ownership, all Bungie games are promised to remain on multi-platform, okay? But he says, I also believe that it's end up by applying anything that live service multiplayer title now. You also need a player count, first of all. You reach a critical mass of sustainability at the level you want to see for these games, and I argue, and also a live service. And you're also worried less about selling box copies as you are getting players into the ecosystem with the Battle Pass, cosmetic purchases, and long-term fishing game. Now, I like how he's talking about this for Helldivers, but yet Suicide Squad is doing the exact same thing, right? You have to get a player base, it's across multi-platforms, and it's also trying to get battle passes and cosmetics, and you have to get that player base. Now, not doing very much, right? Now, the difference is let's just say that there's, you know, a million people playing that game and a million people playing this game. This game looks bad because it's a AAA game. This is a small little studio that's doing very well, okay? It says, I also think this will also happen even more closely linked to IPs to PlayStation, like the upcoming Horizon Zero Dawn live multiplayer game, and it also had The Last of Us Factions had not been canceled. It would have been a wise release on Steam day and date as well. He says, seems likely that Sony is never going to pull the trigger fully on Microsoft-style day and date on PC for all exclusive philosophy, or everything on PlayStation Plus on day one. They've also said they won't. They also said they won't, and the budget of these games probably wouldn't support that. But Sony has been nervous about the reach been limited by the PlayStation boxes alone. And I believe that it'll also start relying on more heavily PC in ways that I'll also be seeing from Helldivers 2, where they will also be a bit more flexible in the traditional games as well. See, look, I think Sony will go day and date with their first-party title. Now, am I saying the next God of War is coming out and that's what's going to make it? No, but I do think that they would go day and date on PC. It'll be more likely to go day and date on their PC with the first-party title games than going on PlayStation Plus. Now, I've always agreed with PlayStation Plus's method of the single-player game not going to PlayStation Plus day and date, coming out like 6, 8, 10 months afterwards, because you're paying $10 or you pay for the full-price game. Obviously, if you want to make more money, you put it out there with the $70 first and then charge afterwards when your masses want to play that game day and date. But the PC makes 100% sense. To not put God of War or Spider-Man 3 or Days Gone 2 or Ghost of Tsushima 2, whatever they have planned in the future, to not put it on PC, to me is a dumb move, because a lot of people that own a PC don't want to own an Xbox. They don't want to own a PlayStation. They don't want to own any consoles. They just want to play their games on PC, and they'll just wait it out. So you might as well make a return on investment sooner rather than later, because if you come out later, they're probably just going to be having a backlog of games that they're going to be trying, and your game is just irrelevant at that point. And a lot of people won't pick it up. And those sales show, since, you know, they don't do very well once they come to PC, because obviously those people are not interested anymore. And if they are, they'll just get it on sale at a later date. Okay. But Helldivers 2, I think, is going to obviously shape the market, change the market on what live service games are doing for PlayStation. Makes sense, because you want to make more money, and you're not going to make more money because you only have 50 or 60 million copies of your console out there. And obviously 60 million people that own your console are not all going to go out and buy this game. They're all not going to go out and buy God of War. So you have a good percentage, 10%, 12%, maybe 15% of the market that has your console right now. Out of 100 million, if they get to the 100 million mark within this year, which I think they will, you're only going to get 10% of those people buying the first-party title games. So you might as well tap into the market that's not on your console to get that percentage even higher. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about Helldivers 2? Are you playing it? Are you liking it? Do you think this is a good stepping stone for PlayStation moving forward with these live service games? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching.